Hello there. My name is Halfdan Högsbakken, and I am a associate professor who works at Vestfold University College, which is located in Halden, and that is just south of Oslo. And my presentation asks a question: Do we have a need for algorithmic competence? So instead of retelling the contents of the paper that I submitted for this conference, I'm just going to make a very visual presentation where I discuss or illustrate what I believe is a new concept which needs to be addressed in future research about what is the meaning of competencies, basically. And why and what is it? I have in the paper introduced a tentative definition, and I have also used various theoretical, sociological or anthropological concepts or theory. For example, new institutionalism, social materiality, and connectivism, to illustrate or to have an academic foundation for how to make the argument of what algorithmic competence potentially might be. But the point is that social materiality is perhaps the most illustrative uh, research agenda, which can illustrate why. And that is because we are more symmetrically interwoven with technologies, and it becomes like very difficult to establish when we are interacting with material and when we're interacting with the immaterial. And now they're so interwoven that there is very difficult to sort of make a clear boundary between technology and social interaction. Because we are interacting with technology resources, which could be argued to have more agentic capabilities and properties, which responds more directly to our actions. And organizations, and with organization, I mean all kind of organization, could be public, private companies. It could be small, large one, and they are gradually replacing the way that we communicate with organization with technologies which is based one way or the other on artificial intelligence. And I'm just going to show an example of that, and how it sort of challenge my skills as a end user. And here we have a company which is called, it sells electricity in Norway, which is called Gudbrandsdal Energy. And it is an example of a company that is not replacing, but it is adding an extra feature to how it communicates with its customers. And that is by using a chatbot. And if you and the intention for introducing it is to make the communication with the customer more efficient, and in order to if you're a customer here, by using the chatbot, you can make inquiries which are much more simple. So it doesn't require that you talk with a customer officer, or someone at a customer with a person at customer service. But it is because the only way that you can communicate it with is to write, is to speak with it in Norwegian, and I'm just making a little practical joke. I'm writing, "Hello, dude. How are you?" And it responds in Norwegian. "Sorry, I do not understand what you mean. Can you try to ask the question in a different way?" So I'm saying I'm in Spain. I'm talking about you. because I'm attending a conference where I'm introducing, and it responds, well, I cannot help you. We have many customers, so can you not make you request to it by sending it to this email? And it responds again, sorry, can't help you, blah blah blah, and write us an email instead, and we will get back to you. So you do not understand English. And it's exactly, unfortunately, I only understand Norwegian, so please contact customer support and as they will help you. Right. So um, um, uh, point is, if you are a foreigner living in Norway and you want to buy electricity from this company at conditions that you can only communicate in one way, and that is in Norwegian, and it doesn't always respond, even though to your inquiries, even if you sort of write the question in Norwegian. So and what sort of sparked my and this is an example of how technology becomes more symmetrical and interwoven in the way that we communicate, and it responds more directly to our way of interacting. And obviously, this just a simple thought experiment, if we want to call it that, or the simple illustration, has been in fact researched by Susanna Smythe, and in a brilliant paper where she was actually she studied the context where the Canadian government replaced its way of communicating with its citizens by using automated tracking system technologies, which means artificial intelligence. And it sort of raises the question: what kind of competence do you need in order to communicate with AI? Because her informants explains in interviews that they constantly get their English corrected. Applications are rejected because they do not apply the correct formula. And so there is a lot of cognitive labor involved in communicating with artificial intelligence, and it's tough work, and it sort of readdresses do really need sort of digital competence. You could sort of argue that many of the skill sets which are outlined in DigiComp or in the Q in the Pentagon, which is on the right, obviously says you need to have digital skills, and you need to have like communicative skills. You need to have some sort of data analysis competency or skill, or one way or the other. But I believe that these technologies or these frameworks are more adapted to a technology which does not respond directly to our actions. It's more sort of Web 1.0, Web 2.0. And I believe that in the future, we will talk about augmented virtual reality and more use of artificial intelligence. And a lot of these services which organizations are introducing when they're communicating will be more automated one way or the other. And that raises some questions. And we can sort of take it directly into an educational context, because how are you going to assess papers which is written by AI text generators? And I subscribe to Stephen Dawn's newsletters, and there was one in his newsletters. He writes about he picks out certain blogs or certain papers, and he make an assessment of them, and he makes a summary. And there was like one post there which sort of sparked my curiosity. And he pointed out that students are bragging about getting straight A's on their papers because they're using an AI text generator. So how are you going to assess if you are, say that you are a language teachers, either in English or Spanish or in Norwegian or any other language, and you have nicely written papers, and you can't tell the difference. How are you going to assess that? Because from this video, there are many AI rater and text generators available online. And how does it work? Well, you just plot in a couple of keywords, and the text generator will write the paper for you. And obviously, this service argues that there are many pros and cons. The paper is going to be written professionally. It corrects your grammar. You can even also write different kind of papers. For example, you can write essays, you can write books, you can write letters, and in our case, you can write research papers. And if you have a research paper which is a text generated, how it's going to be assessed, and there is also a possibility we can write that in different languages. So it's not restricted to English, which is the sort of research, which is the sort of work language of most research papers. So it becomes like a completely different dimension when we talk about Industry 4.0 and the green transition. That's where you actually talk about artificial intelligence and how and I've been attending many different talks in Oslo, where I have been listening to startups which are creating AI solutions which are used to solve different problems. In this case, it's about how artificial intelligence can be used to solve problems in the sea. And artificial intelligence can be used to make to enhance, for example, the cultivation of seaweed, which challenge the literacy of the traditional ways of making seaweed. And basically, seaweed is that you plant seaweed in an allocated place in the sea, and you can actually use artificial intelligence by monitoring the waves and the seaweed by designing buoys and putting out in the sea, and they will collect data. So it means that you're putting artificial intelligence into hardware. You are creating new data platforms. You are creating software solutions, and it's sort of there are many different solutions to this. You have general data that can be used, and machine learning and deep learning are used, and so on. And I believe that the reason that why we should, or my prediction is obviously when the European Union are going to create a AI Act, one way or the other, a legal framework of some sort is going to initiate a new framework for algorithmic competence. So, and when AI technologies become like more widespread and go beyond how AI is used in management issues, because it becomes integrated into policy issues, become integrated into how AI is used in communicating between organizations. It's going to draw up the landscape in a completely new way. So that is my presentation, and thank you very much.